Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. On-chain revolution. Done this. Phone.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the On-Chain Hour, and today's show is going to be better than the price action. We've seen Bitcoin above 92,000 today, and now we're back under 89. So yesterday, we had the Nvidia earnings. A lot of people in crypto don't really pay attention to what happens in TradFi, but Bitcoin trades like a tech stock, and Nvidia is the leader of the tech stock. So Bitcoin trades with Nvidia. Nvidia earnings report were absolutely amazing, and Nvidia popped. Bitcoin ran with it. It went from about 89 up to 92. This morning, it dropped back down to 91. And then we had the jobs data come out, and Bitcoin went back up to like almost 92. And then that seemed to be the local top there. Immediately came back down. We do have Ethereum dropping below 3,000 again. It did get above 3,000 overnight. It feels like Asia wants crypto up, and then the US wakes up and we take it back down. It does feel like Wall Street and the stock market is selling as soon as 9:30 hits. You do see a lot of sell pressure enter the market, and that's usually people just arbitraging the ETFs. Obviously, ETFs are kind of traded OTC, but you know, the more you see, it kind of dictates the price a little bit. So that's kind of what you're seeing there. We have some stuff to kind of go over today. Monad is dropping on Monday. We're actually going to start digging into that and kind of seeing if there's any opportunity over there. The hardest part of this cycle is trying to find a way to make some money, right? Trying to find ways to, how can I, put money in something and have some gains, right? When it comes to weekly, monthly, whatever, this is the hardest market to trade because it's all PvP. It's me versus you versus Tom versus John. It's all the same people doing the same stuff. But Monad is doing like an airdrop type of thing. So there is money to technically be made because when people get free tokens, they like to gamble a little bit. So taking advantage of that, we're going to show you exactly how potentially we're going to be doing that. We're going to be digging into the jobs data and stuff like that because it's interesting what that actually did overnight to the Fed cut that we're potentially going to have on the 10th. It doesn't look like it's happening anymore. Sucks, but it is what it is. Right now, we are in this weird area. It's almost like in between life and death. You're just waiting to know if you're going back to your body and live again, or it's all going to die and go to zero, right? Hopefully we get to live again. I think we will. I'm just being a little bit dramatic, but I'm actually excited for the next 3 to 6 months. I'm actually in the camp that thinks we're going to have a blow off top in April and May. I think that we could potentially see a insane April and May because nobody's expecting it. Everyone's so negative right now, especially the timeline. And I do feel like normally what happens is when everyone feels one way, the market likes to go another way. And it only takes 1 week for Bitcoin to kind of hit stride again and be back over 100K, even be back 120K. Every cycle we do see 30% dips, and we've seen our third. I feel like we're almost at halftime. And crypto usually likes to pop off in the second half. As you know, Bitcoin ran up in 2020. But crypto really didn't start to really get moving until February and March, right? So of 2021. So again, it usually happens. Crypto is usually the last to get liquidity. And if you want to say the stock market, they're a lot of them are at all-time highs, especially at Google, especially Nvidia. I think we're about to see that come to crypto. I think you're going to see a lot of money flowing. Got to remember December 2nd, which is 12 days away, we're officially stopping quantitative tightening, which means that the Fed is done taking liquidity out the markets. I think people are not underestimating or understanding what that means for markets. We're going to get into that as well. So without further ado, I'm bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How are you feeling with the markets right now? What's your mind telling you and what's your gut telling you?
That we're probably going to hang around here for a while. And when I say a while in our space, it's not necessarily a long period of time, right? Maybe a week and a half, between 89, mid 90s. And if we do try to venture closer to 100K to get back over that, I wouldn't be shocked. But, the new, it's like it's trying everything to get, some energy thrusted into Bitcoin's price action, right? Last night, Nvidia kind of pumped it up there with the quarterly results and those kind of things. But here we are back below 90K, sitting at 89. But that's okay. I think watching Bitcoin every second of the day isn't going to be helpful necessarily, right? It's more about, hey, look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm passionate about the space. I still think the opportunities are in Web3. And now what do I do with my time? And I think, researching those opportunities, which don't come very often. They haven't came very often this year. Sure, there's some meme tokens that thrusted up in the beginning of the year, and then eventually it got harder and harder as time went on. But then you did have some of these opportunities like XPL with Plasma, right? They launched their chain. If you played that correctly, like you did, props to you, then you could have made a pretty easy 5, 10, 15x, depending on how you played it. Knowing that, hey, that's not going to have longevity, and there's going to be a period of time where probably pretty short where I get in and get out of that opportunity because of the way the market has been this year is probably going to be the best strategy there. So we have a couple opportunities coming up to finish the year. I believe that, truly. But how are you going to play those opportunities is going to be very important.
Yeah, 100%. And finding them is one thing, executing is another. And we're gonna kind of get into that. At least help you guys find them, so you guys have the opportunity to execute if you want to. But comments are rolling in right now. Shout out to Glasshopper. He said, "Good morning, everyone." Ryan Bolin, my guy, appreciate you. Man, he said, "What's up, crypto fan? Keep on stacking. Almost made it. Huddle tight." So Ryan's kind of thinking that potentially we're gonna be out of here. There is something with a new moon tonight.
Oh, here we go.
I know.
Where's our guy?
I know.
Who is it?
That's
Toshi,
Patty Poo.
Yeah, Patty Poo. That's right. Patty Poo.
Paula is here. Paula's been here all week. Shout out to Paula.
Welcome,
Appreciate
Paula.
you. Absolutely amazing. Ryan says, saw Elon and Jensen on TV talking about life and abundance. I'm ready. Let's go. Sign me up. And then Hydro Sapien is here. Shout out to Hydro Sapien. Ryan actually says, Wall Street, my dude, our time is coming. We're front running all. Love this stuff. I love how positive Ryan is, man.
I know, man.
I heard if you buy the Monad presale on Coinbase and hold for 30 days, you'll have perks for the future Coinbase presales.
Wow.
Interesting. That's something that Virtuals did, wasn't it? Where if you get into one thing...
Well, they had lock or where you got thrown into jail if you sold like too early and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think this is different because it's coming from Coinbase. I think that was definitely a gamified situation. This can be gamified, but I think they have to handle it more of a kind of professional, broad audience type. So, but if they put that in the, the launch and stuff, in the fine print or whatever, that would be awesome because now you have access to some of these newer projects.
Yeah, and then you gotta remember, like Monad it's the first time, right? The first time that it's the first one ever on Coinbase, first launch. So TD is here with his blue scoop. Appreciate you, TD, man. Ryan Bolin says Bitcoin's biggest moves are done 10 days out of the year. Well, we only have like 40 days left, so I hope it's soon. Mo ICP reposted the stream. Appreciate that, Mo. Brian Bolin said, heard the Fed had an emergency meeting yesterday. So they had a meeting yesterday. It wasn't an emergency. They do this stuff because you got to remember that the Fed, they're all across the country, right? And every now and then they'll all just kind of meet up in a certain place and kind of talk about the future and if something's happening. But we've seen this last month, but nothing came from it. We've seen this like 3 times this past year. I originally thought like I thought like you, Ryan, where okay, this is something a big deal, but a lot of times it's just they want to get a closed door conversation happening, and whether that could be about anything really. So Courtney Johnson says peace, guys. I guess he comes in and just leaves. He comes in and says peace, I'm out. But I appreciate you, Courtney Johnson. He's Ryan says it's been all good news, all red coins. Just about time to melt up. Ha ha. Stay strong, Hodl. I hear you, man. Why does Leo dislike Odin so much?
Does he?
Leo, yeah, he doesn't talk about it. Like he doesn't like, you know,
support
he
it really.
When he does the top 10 runes, he leaves out the number 1 rune, which is Crypto Burger. So it's like, so I don't.
Odin doesn't
I
need
think,
Leo. Odin has China,
yeah,
and you know, Be Life or whoever's helping with that group. But yeah, Odin has the support from the East, and it's showing that's stronger than support from the West. It seems.
100%. Glasser said this is the first pre-sale on Coinbase. Yeah, the first ever, which is pretty crazy to think about. Coinbase has been around since 2013. Ryan Bold says there's been all kinds of early adopter bonuses. Just got to get a wallet and start learning. Yeah, for sure. And DGen Trader hops in and says, do you live on Abstract? Yes, we're live right now on Abstract. We've been going live on Abstract since what, like July?
Yep, we go live every day on Abstract, Monday through Friday, every weekday, work weekday, I should say. But shout out to Abstract Dio. It says what's up this morning. So we get some chat over there. You know, I think the Abstract ecosystem is going to grow, and we have a little bit of insight on maybe what could be coming to end the year.
100%. And we're also live on Zora right now too, and Pump Fun. So if you're watching from those platforms, thank you guys so much. We're live in like 10 different areas. We're all over the place. Ryan says subscribe, like, and share. Let's all learn at Moon together. Let's go, Ryan. Appreciate you. Let's kind of get into today's first topic here. Is crypto finished? The final catalyst could shock everyone or spark the next rally. What are you talking about in this title today? What was your mindset when you were creating this?
I just made it up on the spot just to get people in here. No, I'm just kidding. No,
honesty is just kidding.
Best policy, though.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the thumbnail, you could see that I put a couple of logos up there. One of them is Monad. Obviously, Monad is the kind of in this weird sentiment of a little bit of depression, darkness and stuff. Monad has been talked about. People are excited about it, but it's unfortunate. Like the sentiment is what it is right now. So it could kind of turn things. And Monad, like Glasshopper pointed out here, is the first pre-sale launch on Coinbase. I think that's significant, right? Because I think they're going to get support from Coinbase. Co-marketing obviously is there. But more than that, there's people that are going to be expecting, you know, these kind of social claims that they, for the token, you know, that they worked with those Monad cards. People have been anticipating Nomad quite a bit, like builders as well. Trader Joe, which is a DEX that started on Avalanche, has been tweeting a lot about, you know, anticipation of Monad. And there's infrastructure, you know, dApps that are ready to go day one, which is the 24th of November, which is Monday, right? So, and one cool thing is like the Monad official X account, you know, said, hey, drop your EVM address under this post and make sure you're following us because we're going to drop a couple Monad in your wallet if that's the case. So it seems like they're really trying to get a rally behind this launch, first launch on Coinbase as well as mainnet. So that's where some of this opportunity could be, right? But that's one part of it. There's rumors as well that, you know, the ABS TGE could be happening. There's a probability of it happening before 2026. So that means some time from now until the end of December, right? I think that would be huge. You got Luca Netz, which is obviously one of the best business minds in our space, kind of front, you know, being the captain of that ship. I do think Abstract has been quiet, so it would be a good way to kind of wake up that ecosystem, or at least quiet on crypto Twitter across the crypto ecosystem. So are you taking advantage of getting your points in the Abstract ecosystem? We stream every day, so we get a little bit of points every day from that. But there's other ways you can get points by playing in the games that are over there in their ecosystem, right? So that's two. And then you got Mega ETH and a couple of other ones. I think Solve is also going to be doing some sort of give back for their token. We don't know what's in store for Spark. They could just spring it up on us, something. So the catalyst is that there could be these give backs to finish the year. Now, we do know a couple are more probable than others, like the MetaMask token. That's probably going to be pushed to next year, I would imagine, along with the base token. But there could be some of these catalysts in terms of airdrops and claims that could give some liquidity and energy back to give us some sort of Santa rally. And I think that would liven up the crypto space.
I mean, we just need anything at this point. We got Bitcoin dropping below 89. 88.6 right now. I don't know what the hell is going on. ETH about to enter the 28s, but not looking great. Not looking great. But we have to find opportunity in the market. We have to find ways to make money in the market. And one way is the Monad drop that's happening this Monday. We did have the great Glasshopper say, check out Atlantis Dex, the only Dex you'll need on Monad. I'll definitely check it out. Where's the DEXs on here? DeFi. He said Atlantis. I don't even see that.
Definitely going to be. Yeah, there it is at the bottom.
There it is, right here. Yeah. Okay. So you got Atlantis. I'll definitely check that out. It seems really interesting. Yeah, definitely going to be looking at that stuff. The NFTs are really interesting to me because there usually is NFTs that really pop off. Remember Barachain? They had that big one that actually just like
Teddy or something like that
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like the one sought after. I wonder what it's going to be here. And maybe we are a little late, but I mean, the chain does launch Monday. So I think there's still time to kind of do research over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Start looking into a lot of the stuff on how to get whitelists and stuff like that. But there's got to be opportunity somewhere. So, but a lot of these could do airdrops as well. So I'll be playing with a lot of these games. I saw Lucky do something on the X timeline. I don't see it here though.
Yeah.
But this is go on.
Real quick, I want to say, so the Monad main account did, hey, drop your EVM address under here, must be following us, get a couple Monad. And then some of these builders in the ecosystem started following that trend. So, be careful, always be careful in everything you do. But, they could be really trying to, just put some liquidity out there for people to get excited about something different.
Mm-hmm.
People are just really burnt out with the Solana meme coin, ecosystem. But if you look to the very far right, I will say always the quickest and most, I guess, best turnaround type of opportunities are always the meme coin launch pads. That's what people look for. So I expect one of these to be a winner. And the fact that they have so many there, you have Colt, you have nad.fun, that one above that. And nad.fun supposedly has a revenue kickback with their platform. So that's a different approach. Then you have the Nomad, Monad. Nomad. That's so funny because it's like nomads.
Yeah.
That just are homeless and go around. Anyways, they have a launch pad here, and then Ghost and some of these other ones I got to look more into. But they have a lot of meme launch pads there. So I think it's going to be important to see who gets the liquidity because once these launches happen, there's one pad that really attracts most of the liquidity, and that's the winner.
Yeah, 100%. I just looked up Atlantis to kind of see if they had their own launch pad, and they didn't. They do have like a pre-sale going on though. They're trying to raise like 800K. I don't want to show that or anything, but like there is opportunities there as well for a lot of the stuff if you guys believe in the project itself. But you are right. I think the biggest opportunity this coming Monday is a launch pad. So every chain usually has its number one meme coin, right? And that meme coin usually runs up a lot before it is the chosen one, right? So for instance, you mentioned XPL, and I did really well on that. There was a token called Trillions that I got into at like, I want to say 400K. I mean, we saw it together, and I was just dumb enough to throw $1,000 in there, and I ran that up to about 20 million. I ran that that market cap from 400K to about 20 million, and then I got out at like probably 22, 23. But then I watched it go to 20
million market cap. Million. Just for clarity, he didn't make 20 million market cap.
No. I made like a little over 10.
I don't know if he'd be here right now. No, I'm just kidding.
But I watched it go from 400K to about $20 million market cap, and then I got out, and then I watched it go to 60 before retracing back to 3. So that is the meme coin game, right? That is exactly when to get out. You don't know. You got to take profit. I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt when I got out like Saturday afternoon, and then I woke up Sunday morning and it was like 60 million. And I was like, I hated myself because all I had to do was wait 12 more hours or to make, 4 times that amount of money. But I made money, and I withdrew that and put that in projects that I truly believe in. But I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity over here to do that same thing. Is that kind of what you're thinking now? Maybe throw like $1,000 over here and try to find the first runner.
Yeah, and if I were to give you a grade, for how you played Trillions and XPL, I'd give you probably an A minus or a B plus, because you can't be mad about that in this market, right? And none of this is financial advice. You guys know that, but this market has been proven to be a trader's market. And because people can't find ways to make money, you definitely can't make money NFT wise unless something's real new and hot. And even then, it's really hard. So the hold and flip is completely out the window in terms of holding for, HODL type of hodl, right? That is out the window. And it became this really trader's market of quick flips and leverage, which ended up biting people in the butt at the end of the day, right? But with these new ecosystems, I think the best way to play it, and these opportunities don't come very often, mind you. Nope. You're talking about once every 3 months there's a new chain that has any hype or motion. But still, because of how hard it's been to make money in this market, just moving assets and stuff, you have to have that mentality of kind of how you played Trillions. You woke up the next day feeling kind of crappy, but if you were to hold on to that and get stuck in that mindset of, okay, like it can go to 100 now, you know what I mean? It's a brand new ecosystem. It's backed by Tether. Then it dumps down to 30 and you're like, okay, well, it's going to go back to 50. You could get stuck in that, right? And then now you end up selling at 5 million, because you hold on too long. 20. So exactly, you make that decision, you cut the emotions out, and that's the hardest thing to do. But it seems to be the winners this cycle have done that, which there hasn't been a ton of winners.
No, there really hasn't. I mean, you're right. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The day I was in that, when it ran up like that night, I barely slept. Every hour and a half, I was waking up checking my phone. Like any second my eye opened for a second, whether that was because I had to go to the bathroom or something, I was checking my phone, and then I get stuck, right? And then I can't get back to sleep and just exhausted the next day. So it's one of those things too. You're in it. Like when you're in a coin like that, you're in it. But I want to find this one, bro. I want to find it. I'm gonna be looking hard. Monday's show is gonna be fun. I think we're gonna be looking at a lot of them that have started running and stuff like that. So that might be a good show for Monday. Really kind of post about like Monad and stuff like that. But we got a lot of amazing comments in here. I just want to keep bringing them up because those are really good. ICP Mo ICP says, bro, Monad been trying to build hype for the testnet already, millions of participants. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't try the testnet. I'm usually big on airdrop hunting. Lately it's just been tough.
Yeah, millions participated off, of course, airdrop hunters. I do think there's going to be a lot of liquidity dispersed out of this. I have a feeling about that. We do know about the Monad cards and the kind of them doing the KOL situation, which I wasn't crazy about how they did that, but they did it because they, wanted to market early and get that hype going from way back. But now you got Coinbase and you're the first. That's, again, I want to bring that up. It's significant that you're the first that have launched through Coinbase, right? We saw when Pump Fund did that through BitGet, but this is a big jump up, marketing wise, reputation, everything, launching through Coinbase. And so I feel like in a sense, Coinbase needs Monad to be successful here because it's their first, right? So what's the sustainability look like for this ecosystem and this market? Maybe they push it a bit longer than XPL, but until we get into risk on, I don't, I probably wouldn't say anything like 2 months or anything like that. Having a month straight of like bullishness would be actually such a crazy
unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. What we've gone through this year, right? So, for me, I'm going to be playing this maybe a little bit more lax than you did, but not much. Not much more, just because, dude, when you get it's like this, like you get punched in the face by a left jab, like the first time, it stings. You get punched in the face with a left jab the 10th time, you might not get back up, right? And so it's like you got to learn from it at some point. And until the market sentiment changes, I think that going in and securing your profits and stuff like that is going to be very important, at least for me.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm leaving a little bit just in case.
A little moon.
Like if I would have left like $2,000 in there and that would have became 6, I would have been very happy, right?
But how long would you have left it
out.
though?
That's
the
true.
problem, because now it's
it
3.
really is.
Because it would be like so small.
I mean, yeah, no, 100%. Ryan says ETHB is 754,000 total coins. What's up? I'm not sure what that is. ETHB. He says based Bitcoin, based XRP, Ripple base. What do you get?
Base
okay,
Ethereum.
I guess he's holding
Base Ethereum.
Okay, he's just holding all these tokens on the base chain, which is probably smart potentially.
Dude, that is probably smart for that base airdrop. So
Ryan says my logo is from the Doodles NFT. Oh yeah. I've never really looked at Doodles. Have you?
They were pretty big for a while.
Yeah,
they were pretty big for a while.
Courtney Johnson, my guys. It seems like Bitcoin always low on Black Fridays. I've always trying to decide to buy Bitcoin or go shopping. Yeah. I don't remember last Black Friday. Is Black Friday still a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing for sure. I mean, these retail, big box retailers are always going to use that as long as they can. So it's more for putting those ads out, and then they're going to jump on the Cyber Monday thing. So that will always be a thing to just try to get buyers in.
I love Prime Day because like my wife will put a whole bunch of stuff in the cart, and then like Prime Day will come and it'll be like everything's like 40 to 60% off, and I'm just like, all right, everything she's gonna buy this regardless eventually. Let me just purchase the whole cart and just be done with it. At least could get half off. But Ryan says, I've never been more ready for anything in my life. I hear you, dude.
Dude, I need whatever Ryan Boylan's got going on every single day. Seriously, like, man, I need you to be my motivational coach because like I love the energy he brings.
100%. And go check out Superfan and Big Noodle. I absolutely love that you're here every single day, man. Really appreciate it. Ryan says, when Lambo Financial 1,000 total coins, how much will you pay for a Lambo? 150. I personally don't want a Lambo. Like I would never buy
I'm not a nice car. Yeah. Well, I would probably do like a car that I've always wanted for a long time, but like that wasn't one. Like for example, like a car I've wanted since I was younger is like a '98 Toyota Supra, like one of the ones from like the first Fast and Furious. I'd probably get one of those or something just to have, and then my daily driver.
I want a Tesla just so I don't have to drive anywhere. Like I'd buy like a nice Tesla, just like I don't know, take a nap when I have to go down the shore or something. But Ryan says not making anything yet, but when it comes, my hodling going to pay off. Yeah, I mean 100%, dude, 100%. That's what it's all about, hodl. The great Paula says I'm considering buying pre-sale because of FOMO. Dude, Paula, I'm thinking the same thing. I really am. Not really strong conviction. What's Monad's USP other than it's new? USP. What do you think that stands for?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, Paula. If you could clarify that, I was thinking maybe some sort of utility. What's Monads like? What are they known for? What's their utility? Something? Can you clarify what USP? What you mean by that? But I do think Monad is shooting for pretty much what's Okay, so I did research it. They basically are trying to be the EVM tech stack version of Solana, but better. So they're shooting for that speed because at the end of the day, you can say, base is fast and Arbitrum's fast, but there's a weird there's like a different feeling when Solana hits that transaction, dude. It's like it's so smooth and clean. Obviously, if you're competing against Axiom bots and you're using a regular Phantom wallet and a really high volatile meme coin, then you want to use one of the bots. But in general, like Solana has just like a clean transaction feeling, and I feel like that's what Monad's trying to go after.
Yes, unique selling proposition makes sense. Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed it down though. It's they're trying to be the Solana version of EVM, right? They're trying to be that fast transaction, but we've already seen that with Sonic. So Sonic is actually faster than Solana, right? And we're seeing the Godfather of DeFi being builder over there, right? Andre Cronje, and so I feel like they're gonna be hot coming out, but I think they're gonna cool off quickly.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. The difference between Sonic and them, though, is that, you know, and this is the part that you and I agree with on marketing and its you know, its power in our space, is that they got Coinbase and they're the first launch, right, with Coinbase. And so that can make a big significant difference. Because tech at right now, I think the only time that tech matters with chains, obviously, if you can't be on the one end of the spectrum like Bitcoin. You have to wait 40 minutes for a block. But like tech really doesn't matter that much until you get to maybe what Ryan's saying. He says Solana's got Fire Dancer coming next month, over 1 million TPS coming. So this is more for industry, like the industry, you know, stand like leading it. And then now you have, you know, payment processing that is, you know, comparable to Visa, MasterCard, and, you know, people using that instead. So that's where I think tech really matters right now, is getting to that institutional level of payment processing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's going to take time, right? But we both experienced something this morning where, you know, something was sent to the wrong wallet because of, you know, so like we need to fix, there's a lot of problems in crypto we need to fix, but one of them, I guess, is TPS, right? There's a lot of things, you know, where we gotta fix a lot of problems here in crypto before we're really ready for institutions.
Yeah, well, that's why they're either creating their own chains or, you know, their own layer twos, or they're, you know, like I agree with that. Like, you know, no institution's gonna go on Solana and, you know, type a or mispaste the address or automated whatever. Obviously they can get that set up to where it's just smart contracts doing a lot of that, but you know, losing 6 figures, 7 figures in one transaction, not being able to get it back, they're not gonna do that. They're just not going to risk it.
Yeah, so it's crazy because like we experience crypto problems because, you know, obviously we're in crypto 24/7.
We're the testers.
Like, yeah, we really are, honestly. All right, Ryan says when ship happens, when we down on the year, even OGs unsure themselves. Yeah, I mean, for sure. And he says ICOs are back, baby. That's one thing I want to experience again. I wasn't around for the 2017 ICO phase, but I wish I was. It probably was the most fun shit.
So I didn't get that level of deep. Yeah. I wish I just did. You know, I was at that point, I was still kind of more of the centralized exchange part. So I was, you know, in Litecoin and stuff like that. That was kind of taken off at the highest level. But the ICO craze, man, that would be amazing. I think we'd have more protections, especially if that bill gets through, right? Then 2017 ICO was like scam left, scam right, but they painted pictures to where people were scammed, and the scam would last for like a month, 2 months, because people were like, "Where's the headquarters?" Oh, they're in Miami, Florida, and then they're like, the market cap is like 300 million or whatever, and people made so much money, but it was a fake company, right?
Yeah,
you won't be able to get away with that if that infrastructure bill gets passed next week, which I think the ICO craze part 2 could be better. Maybe not so much, you know, crazy liquidity everywhere, but you could get in for like a company that's, you know, could be the next big Web3 company.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we might find the next, you know, Google, Amazon type of company in the next, you know, the actual DApp. Not so we have a lot of the infrastructure already built with all these chains, but the you know, the applications, decentralized applications. I think we're gonna see a lot of them come on board here in the next couple weeks, couple months, and kind of really start to see a, you know, a real industry being built here on the crypto rails that we've been building for years and years and years. I do too. Ryan says, I agree. Love Coinbase on the base app. That's one thing too. You said I meant to respond to that. You said like it's the Coinbase first coin, and that's why you're kind of bullish on it. Coinbase has shareholders, right? And shareholders, they want to see potential, like that this thing that they've worked so hard on, that they put money into building this launch pad is successful. So Coinbase, with billions of dollars, I mean, they're valued absolutely insane. For them to take 10, 15 million and buy the token up to keep that token price up, I mean, that's probably something they're going to do, honestly.
Yeah, you don't want a bad look to where, you know, it just goes up and then crashes super hard. There's constant rugging happening on the chain left and right. I mean, there's obviously going to be a decentralized approach to these meme coin launch pads, so you'll see some of that. But the one thing I think that they want to make sure is that the token shows strength, because it is their first, you know, and you want to start off with a bang.
Yep. I think Monad's based out of New York too, right? Like Coinbase is based out of New York as well. Ryan Bolin says base and Solana. It's a sales thing. Anytime my dudes appreciate you, Ryan, man. Your comments are absolutely awesome. And actually, dude, the more and more you comment, the more and more YouTube pushes people in here. Like, so really appreciate that, man. I'm gonna pick up some Monad tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab some as well. Glasshopper says 69 GTO Judge. Is that a car?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
69
Yeah.
GTO.
Yeah. That's probably his dream car there.
Ryan says, yo, okay, we got that one already. Paul says, I agree that it's huge. Coinbase has users. Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, dude, for sure. Coinbase has a debit card that can peg to your Bitcoin or ETH, or others pay with, and you don't even have to hold USD. That's crazy. I didn't think about that. He said, I was never new, then I knew nothing. I hear you, man. Back in 2017, he means. Let's regular people get in, so it's not just VCs. Yeah, that's true on launch. Got to be able to retain, sustain prices after launch. If it's 100%. But you guys have been absolutely amazing today. I love the comments. Definitely, I'm glad I went through them. Absolutely awesome. But final words on Monad ecosystem and today's title.
Yeah, join us Monday. We're going to be definitely looking at what seems to be catching momentum. Don't ever put anything out there that you can't afford to lose, and don't take anything on any show as financial advice. Do your own research, but you can join us as we research as well on Monday. So should be fun. But again, we're trying to pile up these opportunities that could be happening before year's end. So Monad, Abstract, the ABS token, that would be big. I think that would bring another kind of burst of energy in that ecosystem. Mega ETH, those type of opportunities. We'll keep trying to go over what we feel like is coming up next. And obviously Monad is here now. Well, Monday it will be. And so we'll dive into that together. Should be fun.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually looking forward to Monday's show. Doing it live would be cool. Hopefully they launch before we go live. All right, so getting into some macro stuff. I know it's not the greatest stuff, but it is a way to kind of look at markets. Delayed September report shows U.S. economy added 119,000 jobs, more than expected. They were expecting 50,000 new jobs in September, but they actually got 119,000. But unemployment rose to 4.4%. U.S. unemployment rate rose and it is at its highest level since the bear market of 2022. So two things happened there. We had more jobs than expected, but the unemployment rate, how's that possible? How do we have more jobs than expected, but then the unemployment is higher than expected? It just doesn't make any sense. It seems like something's cooking here.
It can happen, just you got more jobs than, what the target was, but then you also got more people filing for unemployment as well, right? So it can definitely happen, but like right now, I feel like there's stats that are starting to come in that people are definitely trying to correlate to the bear market of the last bear market, right? Whether it's this or something. And it's funny because it reminds me a lot of the things that we're trying to be correlated to the bull market, right? The M2 money supply, all these things, et cetera, et cetera. The part that gets me is if this year is very abnormal in terms of a post-halving bull market year, supposedly, why would it not be very abnormal and unique to just, jumping into a bear market, right? So we're in an uncharted territory, and I think we got to, handle it that way until we know for sure that it's gone into one direction or not, right? And so that's how I'm handling it. I stopped trying to forecast so aggressively because I was in the camp that I thought Q4 was going to be this entire year. I was telling my brother, my family, everybody, Q4 to me was that time to where we would be able to relax a bit, got a little bit easier. Hasn't started off that way for sure. And we're past halfway through this quarter. So to me, it's going to be, okay, how do we finish out the quarter, the year? But I'm taking it, 1 week at a time. I think that's the right time frame to take it one day, but a week is fair enough to say, okay, how does this week feel? Type of situation.
Yeah, 100%. And with this rate cut potentially coming or not coming now on December 10th, yesterday we had like a 60% chance, and now we're sitting at a 35% chance. Let me take a look at this. So obviously this is poly market, right? And right now, 36% chance of a cut, 65% chance of a no cut. It does feel like it's no longer baked in, which is good. So if we do get to December 10th and they do cut rates, that could be the beginning of a push up. Obviously, we know that they're going to stop quantitative tightening in about 11 days and then potentially get this rate cut on the 10th. You got to remember, we haven't had CPI. We haven't had any data points in over 2 months because of the government shutdown. So there's a lot of data points that could be coming. And I'm curious if we're going to get CPI before this. I hope we do. I'll actually look into that when we'll get CPI next. But I think I like the fact that it's not baked in no more because we can kind of run up if we get a cut now. So.
Yeah, it could kind of be one of those pleasant surprises, but I don't know why we're so focused on that right now, right? I mean, I get like we want a cut, but the cuts didn't do much for us in October or September, right? And people say they were baked in. Well, okay, if they were baked in, then why did we get so excited about those happening, right? Now,
Well, Bitcoin got to an all-time high.
yeah, but Bitcoin did, but by itself, really, you know what I mean? In October, and as soon as it did, 3 days later, it was the worst liquidation event of all history, right? So I think it hit all-time high October. So it might have been 6 days. I think it was October 4th or 5th, and then it hit that 126, and then we had the largest liquidation event in history, right? And so when I say it didn't do anything for like risk on, really, you know what I mean? In these rate cuts, and I felt like we were excited about them coming out of the summer, because every time we anticipated one in the summer, it just got like shut down pretty quick, right? Then we finally get one that everybody's excited about. September for sure is going to happen. It didn't do much for the rest of the market. Sure, Bitcoin kind of propped up here and there, but people were anticipating Bitcoin to get to like 130, 140, 150. It got to 126, and it wasn't even like a really great feeling 126. Got there quick. Liquidation event happened October 10th. Everything was in shambles. Seemed like it could heal a little bit, but that's why I'm trying to say is that like I feel like the market is looking too much at that rate cut right now, because it didn't help the risk on market very much at all in September and October.
It would have, though, if we didn't have Binance F up. If we didn't have the entire, because that put so many holes in so many balance sheets that I think they had to sell down Bitcoin and Ethereum to fill those holes. And I think a lot of money got liquidated, and they had to sell down their spot holdings to kind of repair that. And we're hearing that Wintermute was one of them. We're hearing a lot of these bigger companies. So I do think that potentially that we would be in a bullish momentum if 1010 didn't happen. And I think that's kind of why we're in shambles right now, is because we had a Terra Luna event happen. We had companies now with huge holes. I mean, we're hearing it could have been $400 billion of liquidations that might have actually happened, right? I mean, I owned Thread Guy's show the other day. Some dude said he had $20 million like on low leverage, and he lost it all immediately, right? He's trying to recover, right? So we're just not seeing the upward momentum that I think we would have if we wouldn't have saw what happened. So I think that the rate cuts were helping, and I think that we would be in a bullish momentum right now if it wasn't for Binance's huge mess up on the order books.
But we won't be able to know because of what happened, all right, on October 10th. And you're right in terms of that we're still healing from that, and it is probably larger than what they were reporting. I think the highest that was reported was, they said possibly 40 billion, but from people that we've talked to, is like it's higher than that even, which is absolutely crazy. But the one thing is there's no one to really blame here, right? Versus the FTX situation, which was getting, they very clearly blamed, a group of people. And then I don't feel like it was you don't make an accident that big. Right. So there was some sort of, situations that were happening that I feel like it was intentional. I can't prove it, but that's what I feel with my gut. But until then, it happened. Right. And we're still recovering from that October 10th situation. But my point that I'm also making is that like the first rate cut happened in September. I still didn't feel it, because if you remember, September was also a very rough month. It ended up being a very rough month for us. Like we were like, what's going on here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, the beginning of September felt pretty good because we're coming out of July, August, which were bullish months for Bitcoin and more Ethereum than Bitcoin. But then like September started off pretty decent and then ended crappy. And then October started off pretty decent and then obviously ended horribly because
Mm-hmm.
you know, October 10th. But my point that I'm making is now we're like all waiting on this rate cut that is not going to happen most likely in December. Could flip at the last second, but I just feel like we're putting too much into that because I don't know. For me, I just feel like that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong, because at the end of the day, they said they wanted 2 out of the 4 for sure cuts. We got one in September and October, and didn't get one in November. And you know, we'll see what happens in December.
Rate cuts are just, to me, they're a sign of liquidity re-entering the market. Without rate cuts, we're not going to see liquidity enter the market. So, and you have to remember, it takes a while for the markets to kind of adjust into the next part. It's not something that happens instantly and then we have it, right. And when the Fed stops quantitative tightening on the second, we not actually feel that until January, right? Because it takes time for the stuff to happen, but it's something to look forward to. It's a sign of liquidity is coming. If we don't get a rate cut here, I'm actually going to start pushing back my target of selling May to potentially sell in August. Like, honestly, if we don't get another rate cut here, I think we push back the cycle 3 months. We push back actual bullish momentum until February or March, because a sign of liquidity is like, rate cuts don't solve problems immediately. They solve problems over time. Right. So I think,
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree with
we
that.
would be
I
getting
agree with that.
momentum
We didn't get that
now.
chance. We didn't get that
We would be
chance.
getting momentum now if 10-10 didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Paula says Uptober became Rectober. Hey, that's probably the best way to put it, because that's, you
Yeah.
know, I remember making the thumbnails, and like Uptober was like the
Yeah.
main theme for a lot of them. And Ryan says this is too big then to gamble with someone else's money, not a risk I will ever take. Just my opinion. I agree. And then
Yeah.
2-3 month lag, maybe. Yeah, I mean, so that she's agreeing with you on that too, and me too. Like, it obviously takes time for those rate cuts to get into play, and we just got disrupted by the largest liquidation event, in which I feel like we know it's the largest liquidation event in crypto, but it's almost kind of like they're not reporting it like that. It's just weird. It feel, obviously we took a huge hit, but I don't know. I felt like FTX was like worse, the way that the news was reporting it and all that stuff.
Well, FTX was just, it was on CNBC. This didn't make CNBC.
Which is crazy,
right? It didn't make Yahoo. It didn't.
I'm sure it made like
no
the
one even
CNBC money for like a split, like a little segment or something, but they're
I was
definitely
listening to
not beating the drum about it.
I listened to the stock show, Pre-Market Prep, and that day they came in like 10, 11 or whatever it was, and they basically said, we don't know what happened. Why is everyone so negative on crypto this morning? They had no idea what happened. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's barely down. It's actually back up today. I don't know what happened on Friday. Like, they had no idea. And I was like, what? It was pretty crazy. But Paula had a really good question. She said, what were some of the lessons learned from 10-10? One lesson that I learned is even 2x leverage is at risk. Even 3x leverage is at risk. Any leverage at all, you should be worried about, because insanity happens. So.
Yeah, no, and who was probably doing a lot of that safe 2x leverage, some of the cross margin leverage too, that could be risky, but their amount that they were applying wasn't. It was considered kind of lower, just taking advantage of the opportunity. And you know, some of these institutions probably were in that lower leverage, and you know, builders, I think there was builders that like they used low leverage to add to their balance sheet, you know, profit wise, revenue wise, and they probably got wrecked as well. And the trust probably came out, and that's why whenever you're hearing about people saying, you know, people are waiting for stablecoin, basically that line of being able to get out, that's the only, people were bringing it in before, like over and over, influx of stable coins coming in, and all of a sudden now it's like going up. But I think the healing will happen. But man, it seems like we're still going through that.
Yeah, it sucks, man. 100%. But yeah, we had some good news yesterday. Nvidia did smash Q3 earnings. Dude, Nvidia is like insane right now. The whole AI trade is crazy, but like I heard like Democrats coming out and saying like this is all being propped up by large money. It's only six stocks, and everything else is like, everyone else is, and who's in anything else. 401ks are down year over year, she said, like, and all this stuff. It was a AOC or whatever she's saying, and basically saying like the economy is not really booming like everyone's saying it is. And I kind of agree with that. It's really only six stocks: Google, Nvidia, Apple, you know what I mean, and like a few other ones, but they're all AI plays.
Yeah, I don't think it's an AI bubble. I think they just don't want people to think that the economy is doing well. Obviously, right? That group of people,
It's
but I
not
don't think
doing
it's
well though. The
well.
economy
I'm
is
just
like this
I
is
know,
a
but
mess in my
some of
opinion.
the stocks are doing very well, right? Like Nvidia, and it does
Only
help the S and
6.
P. I mean, we've hit the S&P all-time high over and over this year. Like you know, you can't take that out of the
She said that
equation.
though. She said it's only 6 stocks that are being propped up by billionaires. She said all the
So
billionaires are just all kind of concluding to say these are the 6 winners, and the rest of the economy is looking like shit. If you take this, she said, if you take the 6 out, and I agree, take the 6 stocks out, we're red year over year.
yeah, I'm not saying that I disagree with what she's saying. I'm saying that she's doing it because she wants the public
She's right.
to know that, right? And so she's trying. It's also part of her strategy as well, right? But at the end of the day, like those indexes and stuff did hit those all time highs. Um, you know, but I don't think it's an AI bubble in terms of like technology and where we're going. Yes, AI has been kind of in this weird spot the past month or 2 weeks, but we've seen what it can do in terms of its advancement. You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's going to be a bubble in that aspect.
Well,
But
she's
yeah,
not saying it's a
so
bubble. She's saying it's manipulated by billionaires. She's saying
yeah,
it's a facade to make you think that the market is doing good when it's really not. She's not saying
yeah,
bubble. She's saying it's a highly manipulated.
there are people that are saying that it's a bubble though. It's an AI
Yeah,
bubble and it's just gonna pop, right? But I don't agree with that part. But what she's saying, I mean, of course she's going to take advantage of that opportunity to just jump all over it.
she's right though. That's
I'm
my
not saying
point. Like
she's wrong, but she's going to do that like over and over and scream to the top of her lungs
I don't
because
care what
it's
she's
going
going to
to.
do. I'm just saying she came out and she's right. She's 100% right, and
But
I
it's
think
not
that
all.
you're seeing
Mhm.
just billionaires pile into these stocks and all conclude together, saying this is where we're going to put our money. This is how we're going to make the economy look better than it really is.
True. No, I agree. But also, this current administration knows that, like, eventually, you know, middle class is going to hit a certain amount of pain, right? To where they're going to revolt. That's exactly how he got elected in the first place, right? Is kind
Yeah,
of the middle and parts of the lower class got together, and so you know that is one thing about America that eventually happens, where when the people are tired of it like enough, they will revolt, right? And so we'll see. He knows that. He knows that, and so we'll see if that changes. Because this is the first year I kind of expected this first year of this administration to be really, really rough. Not necessarily this rough, but if things don't change in 2026, then you can just hand it directly over to the other side.
I expected this year to be amazing when it came. I felt the changes that he said he was going to make, and having David Sachs in there and all this stuff. I felt like they were
I thought it was
really
gonna be
going to
amazing
make
for. I thought it was
changes.
gonna be amazing for our space, but I thought it was gonna be rough in terms of pushback and stuff like that, making
There
it
really
hard for
hasn't been
him.
no pushback though. I don't.
There's been
He's had
tons
it
of
really
pushback.
easy. If you turn off mainstream media, there's been zero.
No, are
You know what I
you like
mean?
the government shut down, which they've voted yes on the past 13 CRs. They decided they weren't going to do it this time. They did it to win their elections as well. I mean, there's been tons of pushback, and not just from internally, but globally as well.
Yeah.
But he's used to that, right, from 2017 as well. So the good thing is that once we did get past that first year, the second year, people do kind of get normalized of how things are and stuff. So I'm hoping that
Yeah.
2026 will be a much easier and time to shine for the economy and middle class too. Like that is the biggest thing that like they got to focus on. They got to focus on the middle class because that's who, a lot of the people that went into crypto are like, young or middle class and thought, this is an opportunity to kind of catch up a bit, right? And we're just not seeing that happen this first year.
Yeah. I mean, if you invested in Apple, Nvidia, and Google, you're up. But if you invested in anything else, you're down. I guess you can add Bitcoin into there as well. So, but let's get into the Bitcoin price action, crypto bubbles, and kind of see what exactly is happening. Wow, dude. When we started the show, Bitcoin was at 91.4. It is now 88,000. What has happened, dude? My entire
You just
screen is
want to
red.
wait until it gets to a certain point to where I have to do the
I kind
price
of want to get it
action
over with. I kind of
and
just want to get it over with.
be an Eeyore and be all depressed and
This is
stuff.
what
No,
I
just
want
kidding.
you to say. I want you to say I see a reverse head and shoulders on the hourly, and we're headed back up. Can you say that?
No, I can say that I'm wearing a double top on the hourly. 'Cause that's what we see.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, as always, guys, help us out. You guys are awesome on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, let's share the space. Get as many people in here as possible. It really does help us out by sharing the space. So if you could do that, we'd greatly appreciate it. Same thing with Abstract. You know, we love streaming there. Share that link. Pump Fun too. New audience over there. We have about 20, 25 people over there watching as well. Everywhere else.
Really?
Rumble,
Oh,
Kick.
wow.
Yeah. Rumble, Kick, and Zora. We welcome the Zora audience as well. We should be on the base app too once that starts to integrate that. But all right, let's take a look. Zora. Let's take a look here at some price action for Bitcoin, which, as Shizzy kind of let you guys know, it is not pretty. And in fact, it is ugly, very ugly here. But he wanted me to say that we had a...
You see it? I see it. Reverse head and shoulders.
Well,
reverse
shoulders here.
Reverse.
No. I have to flip the chart.
Well, that's what it's called. It's called a reverse head and shoulders.
So anyways, as you can see here, we are pretty strong into the sell pressure on the hour chart for Bitcoin, right? You can see that this is like the MACD is showing that we just like it's a strong sell down that we're in right now, sell session. The actual points here is a negative 365 on a scale of 220 being the oversold territory, right? So this is not a good, like, you know, obviously if you want to be bullish, it's good for bears, but not for bulls currently. And I am seeing more of a kind of double top. Yeah, I guess you could say a weird head in here, but regardless, you know, if that's the case, you know, we could see a bottom, you know, coming up soon, probably for both. But until we see, you know, a calm down kind of energy with this bleed out, you know, we got to see where it wants to find its footing. And as of right now at the 87,800, we are just getting dominated. Obviously, resistance is pushing down. The bears, the sellers are coming in here, pushing down hyper aggressively below this as well. Man, today's going to be interesting. Where do we find that footing for Bitcoin, right? It could get nasty here, guys. It could get nasty. I mean, the past couple of days when we did start to see a bleed out below, it was at least a little bit more balanced out in terms of buys versus sells, but it's starting to get lopsided here. So it's like when we lose this, there's not really anything to catch it yet, right? So that could be a scary situation. With that being said, you know, we'll keep watching this and hopefully we start to see it break down. But if it is truly one of those bleed out situations, the breakdowns can be very, very tricky. So be very careful here, guys. Be very, very careful, especially you know, using the MACD momentum indicator whenever there's a bleed out happening, because you think maybe the session's done, you try to take a position, you're catching a knife that comes and cuts you really deep, and then it bleeds out further. So I'm just saying, none of this is advice for you guys, but it is to say, let's kind of wait and actually let it come out of sell pressure. I think that's probably the smartest thing once we start to see this breakdown, but more so actually form a buy pressure green candle on the MACD and then you can see, okay, we actually switched momentum and came out of it, because yeah, this is like it looks like a fire hydrant at this point, right? And we need to see whenever that we can get that closed up. So that's the hour. I mean, I felt like that was pretty bearish breakdown there, but that's where we are. You look at the 4 hour and we just had horrible, just weak buy pressure sessions, so weak here. And, you know, does this sell pressure end up, you know, really forming, you know, a strong momentum here on the 4 hour chart? We already see it on the 1 hour. If we break down below 85, then yes, we will see a strong, you know, red candle starting to form here. You know, on the next on this to finish off this 4 hour candle, right, on the MACD. So it's something to definitely keep your eye on. You know, if you do, you know, if we do start to see a calmness in terms of, you know, this being tamed down a bit, you know, we could see an area where there could be opportunity, right? But looking at the 4 hour is going to be better for that than the 1 hour, right? Because I feel like the 4 hour we can actually see you know, the start of a breakdown of this to where maybe we don't form a second red candle, or you know, we just come right out of it. I don't think that's going to be the case personally, but it's something to keep your eye on there. So, you know, today's Thursday. we might see some nastiness for the rest of today and tomorrow. The daily just broke back down. You know, I thought maybe again we had a potential for a breakdown heading into a reversal. Nope, not happening. It says no bueno for Bitcoin. So that's where we are for the daily as well. Ethereum, same stuff. I mean, you're just looking at a strong red candle here for the hour chart. It's going to play out the same way for all the time frames. So really kind of what I broke down for Bitcoin, Ethereum follows the situation as of right now. And so that's where we are, guys, with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I assume this crypto bubble is going to be extremely brutal here. It's not as bad as I expected. Okay, there we go. Now it is. You can see the top 100 here. Zcash is sticking out here, and it's 682. Interesting. But we're sitting here at Zcash, you know, being an anomaly, sticking out, you know, with a 13% gain. Atom, which must have been in the news. That's the only reason why I can imagine that they're up here with a 5.
From Atom.
Really? So something weird with that for sure. And then you have Fed, and then Pi. They are at the senior citizens centers again in Asia.
You said the quiet part out loud. You said the quiet part out loud.
Well, hey, I mean, look, if you're gonna MLM, then you better do it right? And so it seems like that's possibly this is just kind of poking fun there. But yeah, everything else you're looking at, you know, 3, 5, 7% pullback on most of these majors. You know, so Aster had a pretty big, you know, rise up yesterday. It was at $1.35. We're seeing it at under $1.20 right now. Mix had a gain yesterday as well. It's down almost 13%. Morpho down about 8% here. So everything's pulling back. Let's see how Merlin's doing, because Merlin's actually been one of the ones that have been, you know, decent when things have pulled back. But it might join the party, you know, at some point. You know, you got to kind of, you know, there's market makers involved as well for all of these coins that are in the top here. But you see Zora is up 24%. That's interesting. Let's see how Merlin's doing here. I'm going to type that in. So we see, so it's sitting at 36 cents. So it's looking pretty strong while everything else is pulling back. You got syrup here, maple syrup. That's actually the company's Maple. The token is syrup. It is down 9% here. It's a big DeFi project there. Hex has pulled back about 10%. Pulse down about 8%. Pulse X down about 11%. Fartcoin, wow, Fartcoin is looking pretty decent here with a pull up about 11%. Didn't expect that. But, you know, that's pretty much, you know, how the market looks, guys. It's not pretty today, but we will get through it. I'll tell you that.
It's so weird. I'm seeing Fartcoin red on my screen, down 1%. It must have popped up yesterday. Before a 0-0. So I gotta figure out when the bubbles reset. Yeah. All right. Let's kind of get into the next thing here, which is roll call, where we take the first comment of the day and put that on a spreadsheet. Congratulations to the amazing Tim Baker, AOD Art himself. I think it was Tim. A lot of comments today. Yeah, shout out to Tim Baker, AOD Art. You are absolutely amazing, my friend. I have to grab the spreadsheet. Damn, I had the spreadsheet up, but I accidentally deleted it. But Tim Baker, now you have a win number 24 on the year. Congratulations to you, my friend. You actually like me sure I lock you in with win number 24. All right. Let's get into the rest of the comments here. Lackey Lukey is here. Spindrift is here. Vader Time. Glasshopper. Ryan Bolin. Paula. Hydro Sapien. Glasshopper. Cheaty. Mo ICP. Courtney Johnson, the legendary one himself, is here. Let's see who else. Degen Schrader. And then we have Superfan. Someone new. Who else we got here today? But shout out to all you guys with all your comments today. Absolutely amazing. We're going to start digging into some of your comments as I get down to the bottom here. Ryan says, Zora Green, they're well. Nice, yeah. And he says, GRT, the Google of crypto. You seem to be in a lot of coins, brother. Albert Amari pops in. He says, picked up a Bitcoin puppet today. Will DCA into only Bitcoin now? The puppet is like a side bet. That's actually
Albert,
like 1,300, bro.
Dude, I feel like Albert getting back in the markets is like a kind of sneaky little indicator there, you know, because like it's like, okay, if he's back, then he's trying to anticipate something. So tell us what you know, Albert. Tell us what you know.
It seems like he's bearish on the surface. Like when he comes out, he talks in here, he talks very bearish, but then he does something like this and buys a derivative of a derivative
no,
of a derivative.
But he was you know, before he was pretty much out of everything. So for him to buy something like a puppet is interesting. I mean, look, getting ready for 2027. Damn, that's like getting ready for like Armageddon here. Like that's a long ways away. But hey, I mean, if you can get them, if you feel like these are the cheapest, right? If there's gonna be energy from a community, Puppets has that type of energy. So, and ordinals, a lot of people, I've been seeing a couple of comments. They're saying ordinals will have like a massive comeback once they do come back, and you know, in 2021, counterparty NFTs and stuff were coming out in 2015, 2016, 2017. So those are the first Bitcoin NFT collections. And they didn't really see a resurgence until 2021 because of Emblem Vault. But, you know, some of them sold for, you know, mid six figures. So
the guy from Counterparty who created Counterparty, he was actually on Leonidas' space last night. I tuned in, and he's actually creating a new meta protocol on top of Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Has the entire counterparty ecosystem kind of with
he should try to decentralize it some way, so in case like during a slow period they don't have to, you know, flip the switch or whatever.
Well, they want to bring all the counterparty assets to this new protocol, and it's very similar to Alkane's. So
yeah,
who knows? They want to bring smart contracts. Shout out to WebDro. Offers on ordinals will pay off long term. Yeah, I agree. So you can't beat these. You really can't, dude. The ordinals prices are so beaten down right now. Absolutely insane.
So abstract Dio is asking any meme coin alpha to catch on Monad. We went over that earlier in the stream, but if you go to Monad Media, you'll see a ecosystem graphic. So just search Monad Media on X, and you'll see on the very right side, all the launch pads are there. So I would say, you know, the ones that we've seen get a little bit more attention are like Cult.fun. And I think Monad Pad was the other. There's one called Printer too that was getting some attention. So I think one of those are going to be the winners, but I would go over all of them and just be ready on Monday. You'll know pretty quick, and you might be a little bit late. You might get to like $2 million market cap or $1 million. Look, you're not always going to be able to get into the, you know, first $100,000 market cap. And if you play it right though, and it's the leader, you could still 5-10x at $1 million. Yeah,
100%. Ryan Bolden says everything, almost all aspects of our life are going on blockchains. Therefore, having tokens with kind of value, there's so many options and hidden stuff out there, and there are early adopter bonuses. Amazing. Yeah, I hear you, man. Super fan with some actual news here. He said potentially bullish news. The two leading game engines, Unity and Unreal, they're teaming up on a payments to fight Apple Store and Android rules. I'm hoping this leads to X402 and crypto integrations. Both engines have ton of crypto SDKs available for ages now. So them teaming up gives them power. I hope Tim Sweeney famously fought Apple in the past. That would be awesome. If they do like X402 type of system.
Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome. And I think, you know, Apple realizes that maybe their time of being this, you know, dictator of the Apple Store, right? App Store might be coming to an end a bit, right? Because everybody wants to be on the Apple App Store because, you know, iOS apps and all that stuff. But these game you know, companies and stuff, that they've been dealing with this, and many just app developers have been dealing with this for so long. And Apple has been a bully. You know, capitalism is supposed to not necessarily have so much of like a monopoly type of situation, but you can't help it at some point because, you know, you have the leaders, and the leaders are worth so much money, and money influences and all this stuff. But, you know, obviously government's not doing their job with some of that. But this could change that whole, you know, approach.
Yeah, but like if you created something amazing, right? You created it, it's yours, and I'm like, I want to be on your thing, and you're like, you don't qualify to be on my thing. Like it's your thing, you know what I mean? Like why would I try to fight you? You know what I mean? It's just Apple created it. If you don't like it, create your own Apple Store. What I mean? It's like create your own.
But
iOS.
you can't.
Like
Oh yeah, so
It's
you can
just
create your own phone, and that's why some people did,
yes.
go over to the Google Play Store, which is Samsung's Android system. But I mean, it's there comes a point though, obviously, right? Like, and it just happens with a capitalistic type of government, right, or economy, country, is that like if you lead in that industry and you dominate, you're gonna have more control. YouTube does it,
Mhm.
Google does it.
But
People
you
do
created
it.
something amazing. You created something special. Who the hell am I to say that you don't deserve the right to pick and choose what you want on your app, right?
Yeah,
So our
and
app
I think a
store,
lot
our
of
app
it
is.
too was like the revenue share got pretty
Yeah.
crazy. I think it was like 30% or 40% or something like that. I think it's 20% now, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and but that's why the Solana phone was created, right? I think we as crypto natives like creating our own type of phone in the future. I mean, there's technology out there now that could build really amazing stuff for really cheap, honestly. So I don't know. We gotta like all get together and decide to get off. I love iOS though. I'm not gonna.
It's so simple and
I
easy, and it
know.
just like the tech part doesn't even matter because they just make it
I know.
convenient.
Albert Meyer says the good days will come back when we saw millions
What
in
happened
value
to
on ordinal
you, Albert? You're
correlations.
positive.
I
I
know,
like
dude. He
it.
was so negative in 2026, and now I feel like he's getting ready just in case. Time to stack now. I remember when Node Monkeys and Puppets would be at 5K floor. I feel like they were at 5K floor for like a year. I felt like it was like from like January to
What
like
after like the euphoric top?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing No Monkeys at 10K and be like, dang, this is so cheap. And looking at them today at like 3,000, it's like, wow, I'm glad I didn't buy
Oh
one.
man, generational play though, man. If you bought, I mean, if you had like $20,000 to $40,000 of available liquid, when they were like 2 to 4K, that was a
Yeah.
generational play because the floor got to $50,000.
Yeah. Ryan says Solana Seeker user. I love it. A calculator then can do the math for crypto.com or crypto. Awesome feature. Yeah, I actually want to get now that we're talking about it. And, I kind of do want to get a Solana Seeker phone and then just kind of
Just
just
to
use
try
that
it.
directly just for crypto. Yeah, just like have another device. I have like 9 devices. I might as well get a Solana Seeker just to kind of check it out and kind of seeing if it's even possible for the world to go that way. But let's jump into some other stuff here. What did we get to? Okay, so this one's interesting. The Bitwise Spot XRP ETF is launching under the ticker XRP. So we will have the Bitwise ETF on the stock market as XRP. I do not like this. I think that this is not great for retail users who want to buy XRP the asset and then accidentally buy the ETF. I don't know.
Well, I
How
think
do you
I
feel
think
about that?
brokerages like Robinhood and Fidelity, they're going to have like parentheses ETF,
Yeah. Okay.
versus they have to.
But like hashtag XRP now
So
is going to be like
that's a
the
different story in
ETF
terms of like
and
marketing and stuff. That in social
yeah,
media, that's a different story. Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? That they would do that.
yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't like that when I seen it. I don't like the next thing either. So India plans to launch ARC, a stable digital asset pegged 1-to-1 to the rupee in the first quarter of 2026, developed jointly by Polygon and ANQ, which is one of the big larger companies there. ARC stablecoin will operate under a 2-tier framework complementary to the Reserve Bank of India's CBDC, with minting out available corporate accounts. So India is in the production of creating a CBDC. Comes out next year, and it will be a back-to-back 1-to-1 with a rupee. CBDCs are coming. China has one, and now India.
Yeah, I think Sandeep is Indian, the one of the co-founders of Polygon. I don't know if that like he has a that relationship
He's
with the
American
Indian.
Indian, though, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't
He speaks
know, but
perfect English. Yeah, no
okay,
accent.
but I mean, yeah, this CBDC stuff. Obviously, we don't like it. I do think we're going to see more though of it because, dude, like governments don't want to give up control of their citizens.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's just an obvious thing. Even if the United States, which we feel like they'll never go to the CBDC just because there's so many pushback against it, so much pushback against it. like the way that it's going to form in the capitalistic approach, it's going to be like the same situation, right? Who's in tight with the government? Who's going to be showing, you know, everything? Probably USDC Circle, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So it's going to work similarly to where they can have access and stuff. But at the end of the day, look, Polygon again with a big project that they are, you know, being a part of. So
Yeah, could you imagine if they get like 20% of the Indian commerce to happen on chain, right? That could be insane for Polygon's blockchain. The amount of you know this this ARC token, I guess, just trading for you know normal commerce from you know, and maybe people don't even realize they're using Polygon, right? They're just you know, they scan a QR code and they just send it from their phone, right? It's like maybe they do something like WeChat. I don't know if they have WeChat or something similar to it, but I mean, it might be on everyone's new app that they buy and sell with, because I doubt people are still using like you know cash. I heard the United States is one of the few places that cash is still available, which I thought was crazy. But yeah, so everything's really going digital anyway, so gotta take the rupee. So we'll see. MEXC is partnering with Hacken for monthly independently verified proof of reserve. So last month, I want to say, everyone was questioning MEXC. So there was a big wow. He deposited money on MEXC. He did a transfer, but MEXC froze his account and wouldn't let him get out, and that made everyone think that the 1010 liquidation event hurt them to the point where they couldn't send this man his money, even though he just deposited it. But what do you think about them now saying, hey, and they came out and did say there was no issue. It was just a security flaw that went through that they had trouble undoing for this particular person. But he spent like 7 days bitching about it online. You know, but you know, MEXC now partnering with Hacken for monthly independent proof of reserves.
I think all the centralized exchanges should do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless of you know a situation like October 10th or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want your users to feel safe that they can withdraw anytime they want. I mean, the centralized banking system that we crap on every single day, like lets you take out your money. You know what I mean? And so you got to at least be able to, you know, have that type of. I know the MEXC centralized, but you know, you got to at least match that experience, or you're not going to have people want to switch over to what your technology is.
I mean, I know some. We both know a guy who sent from Coinbase to their bank and it got frozen. So
That
it does
was
happen in the banking world as well.
yeah. But that I think that had to do with you know the digital asset during that time period,
Yeah.
and you know that was a little bit of a different situation. Yes, they can kind of turn that on and off, yeah, obviously, but I'm just saying for the most part, right, you're not going to have an issue. And yeah, one bank might not have as much cash on hand, but you go to the other you know the other sister bank or whatever, the next in the next neighborhood or whatever, and do it.
I personally love MEXC. I use it daily. You know what I mean? I use it this morning, right? It's where I do all my bridging, right? I send one asset there and then I convert it to another asset. And you don't need to trade. There's a convert button that immediately just converts it for nearly free. Like if I do $1,000, I get $1,000 in the other asset that I want, like almost perfectly. And I send it out. I probably spend about $1.50 on depositing, converting, and withdrawing. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. I use it daily. I do treat it like a restroom though. I get in there, do my business, and get out. I don't ever keep anything in there overnight or anything like that. But I love it for you know bridging and stuff. It's the best. Yeah. So stablecoin outflows is getting scary, bro. So this is a tweet from the great guys over at Coin Bureau. Over 4.4 billion in stablecoins leave the market in 30 days, signaling weakening buying power. So I went over here. So over the last 7 days, we've seen $2.18 billion in outflows from stablecoins. It's been getting really, really bad when it comes to stablecoins right now. I mean, obviously we had this huge run up, but lately it's just been, it doesn't look that way because, you know, we're kind of like zoomed out. But over the course of the last, since October 14th, which was like the high, which is insane because we know what happened October 10th, but it's just been down only. And some people are reporting that it's probably going to get a lot worse. People are getting worried about keeping their stablecoins on chain again. Uh-oh. Did Yagobi freeze? Or did I freeze? All right. Well, I'll just answer it. So I think it's probably, it potentially could be one of the worst things that could happen. I mean, we could potentially see billions and billions of dollars exiting crypto rails. The more and more I think about this, the more and more I feel like we could be entering a bear market here. It's like the news that keeps happening over and over and over is some of the worst stuff, So, but I don't know. Let's move along though. Hyperliquid, get rid of my screen here. Hyperliquid launches HIP3 growth mode, cutting taker fees over 90% on a new permissionless markets. Lower cost aims to boost liquidity, attract deployers, and accelerate new agent asset listings. The new fee model locks settings for 30 days to stabilize markets and prevent manipulation. Growth mode targets faster expansion, more niche trading pairs, and competitive pressure on centralized exchanges. So Hyperliquid now, they're getting a lot cheaper, but you have to remember they do a thing called buyback and burn, where they go into the market, they buy the Hyperliquid token, and they burn it away. Now introducing HIP3, which you got to remember, ERC20 does, their version of the updates and stuff like that. With the EIPs, these guys do Hyperliquid IPs, and we're going to see potentially a lot less Hyperliquid bought and burned because the fees are dropping 90%. Honestly, it's probably going to be 90% less buyback and burn. So does that concern you guys? Does that concern you guys as Hyperliquid holders now? Because that was one of the biggest things there. And we do got some comments here. Shout out to Ryan Bolin. He said, it's not using these things right now. All these tokens and coins being launched only happens one time after the bull run. Wall Street and institutions, I don't think will sell off like we have seen in the past. Now, I 100% agree. He said, I had a Galaxy S23. I love my Solana Seeker. Like my dude, if I get one, it's a crypto first phone. Yeah, 100%. I don't really have too much more here. Bitmine is sitting on $3.7 billion of unreal losses. We know Bitmine is headed by Tom Lee. Tom Lee is sitting on $3.7 billion losses. Does that concern you guys? Guys, where's Yasher? Haven't seen. Yeah, Yasher, he hasn't been here in a long time, man. I miss Yasher. That was my guy. Yeah, he was usually here every single day asking the most questions. I miss him. It's been over like 6 months since he's been here. Shout out to Yasher. But I think that's our show for you guys today. Really appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us. Not a lot of news, not a lot of things happening right now. We are hoping for some more bullish times ahead, but it's in my opinion, it could get worse before it gets better here. Always had the research and good. Yeah, he was always in stuff, man. It was absolutely amazing to kind of see him and everything. So Yagobi, he said he'll be back in a second, but I think that's it for us, guys. If you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out our partners, it really, really helps us. Obviously you guys coming in here every day really helps our show as well. But our partners are another way we are able to kind of live and keep doing this stuff. Guys, check out Emblem Vault. If you go to emblemvault.vision, they are absolutely amazing. Emblemvault.vision is your one-stop shop to take your assets from one chain to another. Right now, you guys can go there and take your Taproot Wizards. You can take them over to Ethereum and use a platform called Gandhi and actually get insane amount of loans against them. You get a lot longer loans than you would off something like Liquidium. Definitely check out Emblem Vault if you have any reason or any hope to kind of move these assets. And I do think if you took a Node Monkey or a Puppet and used Emblem Vault and got it over to Ethereum and listed it on something like OpenSea, I think you could do really well. Maybe even double the price. I don't know. There's definitely an opportunity there. And you just got to know Agent Hustle. They just opened up the Binance Smart Chain. So now you can use 4 meme swaps and liquidity pools all from Agent Hustle. It's a one-stop shop. I use it every single day to kind of get in here and just start messing around, kind of just learning what's happening in the space. I use it for a lot of my news too. If you guys are going to use anything in the future when it comes to AI, Agent Hustle is my number one. He knows more about everything than anything else. And then now with Binance Smart Chain, obviously they got Hedera, Solana, and Ethereum. I mean, it's becoming a one-stop shop soon as well. you're going to be able to use the Hustle wallet whenever you want. Absolutely very bullish on Agent Hustle. And I got Migrate.fun. Huge news come with Migrate.fun. We're going to have Jake on Friday. He's going to be dropping some huge alpha. But if you look on X, you're seeing a lot of teams say, hey, I'm migrating to Pump Fun. I'm migrating to Pump Fun. That's going to be pretty big because Jake actually had to build a brand new tool for that. I'm actually really excited for Migrate.fun, Agent Hustle, and Emblem Vault. Guys, go check out what they're doing over there. And on top of that, you guys can potentially get in super early to the Hustle token, but that is up to you. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out Merlin Chain, Merlin Chain is your one-stop shop for staking. If you have Bitcoin and you want to stake, you can get 70% APR, 17%, guys. Absolutely insane. That's what they got last time. This time, you're going to get an average of 17%. So we'll see what kind of APY these guys will be giving you. But definitely come over here and check out any Bitcoin staking that you want. Highly, highly bullish on Merlin Chain when it comes to MBTC. It is everywhere. And then the Merl token, if you are a holder of the Merl token and you want to get 15% APR, and you all it does is there's no lockup, so you can guys, but you do have to deal with a 7-day cooldown, which isn't a big deal. You lock it in there, set it, forget it. Every day you come back here, you can actually take the Merl that you earned over the last how many days and restake it or sell it. That is up to you. But the big thing is the 6-month lockup. I highly recommend this if you guys are part of the Merlin ecosystem and holding this token. Lock it in there. You get 45% APR. If you're a long-term holder of Merlin, I think it's stupid not to take this free money. Lock it in, set it, forget it. I think 6 months is the perfect plan here because who knows what happens in May, but this could be unlocking right in May, and you can be very happy with your 45% more as well. And on top of that, they do have the Wizard, which is their AI. Very, very bullish on the Wizard. So all of our partners right now are building, everyone is kind of building AI with the Merlin Wizard, Merlin 2.0. You guys can swap, stake, and it's not just on crypto. It's not just on it's not just on Merlin Chain. It can actually be on everything, Solana, anywhere else. Definitely check out the Wizard and everything with that. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. And sorry. Got me a second. All the way back to 2023. Where is that? Boom. Yeah, check out OnChainRevolution.io. Articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you guys are interested in checking out this article, Bitcoin's 30% drop. This is kind of what I'm talking about. I'm going live on TikTok at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. And you guys can definitely check out everything here. 30% pullbacks, big article. They're 3 to 5 minute reads. And on top of that, America.fun article, definitely check it out. And we have articles about X402 and really everything. Definitely check out these articles here. On top of that, if you guys need a VPN, highly recommend Nord. I use it every single day as well. If you guys lock this in for 2 years, you get an average price of $3 a month. Lock it in, set it, forget it. 2 years later, you lock it in again. But 27 months for $70. I mean, you can't beat that. Why use a VPN? Well, number one reason to use the VPN for me is to use MEXC. I tell you guys I use MEXC daily. I couldn't use it without my VPN. I always got to make sure that is on when I use it. On top of that, you can use Hyperliquid as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And we have a new affiliate link, and that affiliate is Ledger. If you guys are interested in hardware wallets, I mean, this is the one you have to get if you're interested in hardware wallets. Definitely check out everything here with the Ledger, brand new devices, old devices, anything you guys need. Use our link here. It definitely helps the show, and we really, really appreciate you guys. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. On-Chain Revolution.